So the NFL trade deadline is quickly approaching, and according to an NFL insider, these two receivers are likely to be traded. Christian Kirk and Diontae Johnson, both pretty good receivers in my opinion. I know Diontae Johnson hasn't had the best production so far, but we saw the sharp contrast between what he was doing with Bryce Young and then what he did with Andy Dalton. Went off against the Raiders, had a really good game, and I don't know how any receiver can really look good with Bryce Young and just overall being on the Panthers. So, you know, I we saw what he did in Pittsburgh. He was a volume target, just got in a lot of work, and he was consistent. And I just think he could be a solid target for a variety of different offenses. I would really like to see him on the Bucks, especially if they're serious about going on a playoff run this year and serious about really competing, which I think they should, man. I know Godwin going out for the year is a really tough blow. He was looking like his old self for the first time in a long time, so massive blow there. And Mike Evans is currently going to be out for 2 or 3 weeks, I believe. So they definitely have a void there. Adding a guy like Diontae Johnson or Christian Kirk for Baker Mayfield is kind of a must if you want to stay competitive, if you want to win this year. But if you don't think you can, then I probably wouldn't do it because I feel like the price range for these two guys, probably a third or a fourth. Amari Cooper went for a third, so probably around the same kind of range as that. I don't think these guys are as good as Amari Cooper, so who knows? You might get it at a discount price, maybe a fourth, maybe a 4 and 5, not sure. But let me know who you guys like better out of these two players, Christian Kirk or Diontae Johnson. Now, Christian Kirk, he was really productive, I believe, 2 years ago, and then last year he was just okay. And then so far this year, the Jags have just been really disappointing, especially Trevor Lawrence. And Christian Kirk can play, man. He can play. Like, he went off a few years ago. He was one of the best receivers in the NFL statistically. And I really think he could reach that mountain again, or at least kind of be on the cusp of it. He just needs to be in a better place to be successful. Trevor Lawrence isn't that guy, at least, from my perspective. But yeah, Christian Kirk, a team like the Lions, just another little fast weapon for Jared Goff would be a good move. And again, it's not going to be a steep price like a second. You could maybe get these guys for like a fourth, maybe, if the Jags are desperate enough, and especially if they lose against the Packers. I'm filming this right before kickoff week 8, so we'll see what happens. And that's the thing too, hopefully both of these guys stay healthy and don't suffer any injuries, so that's another big element of it as well. Let me know what teams you think should trade for Kirk and Diontae Johnson. The Steelers actually have a void at the wide receiver position as well. They were actually linked to Cooper Kupp, to Brandon Ayuk as well, so they're definitely in the need for a wide receiver. And I know the reason why they traded Diontae Johnson was just character issues, locker room issues. So I don't think they would trade back for him. But at the same time, like, if you're desperate enough and if you think you could win and be competitive this year, then never say never, man. Never say never. Also, with Cooper Kupp no longer being on the trade market, with the Rams kind of saving their season against the Vikings on Thursday Night Football, which they look completely electric, by the way, and that's what I said when I made that video about Cooper Kupp potentially getting traded. Like, you can't break apart this offense. It's an elite offense when it's healthy. Yes, they've been on the short end of the stick for the first part of the year with injuries and whatnot, but when Puka's there, when Kyron's there, when Cooper's there, when Stafford's there, and you still have those other two receivers, Tutu Atwell. Like, come on, man. there's just a lot of weapons on that offense with Sean McVay. You can't break that up. You just can't break that up. And we saw that firsthand against the Vikings. So they're not going to trade Cooper Kupp anymore. But the Buffalo Bills were also in conversation with the Rams in regards to Cooper Kupp. So I guess they may want to add another receiver as well. They already added Amari Cooper. So adding a guy like Christian Kirk or Diontae Johnson for Josh Allen, I like it, man. I like it because I think this team can go on a run this year. I think this team could maybe, just maybe, make it to the Super Bowl this year and beat the Chiefs. I know Josh Allen hasn't done that yet, but man, I know the Chiefs are going through some injuries as well right now, but I feel like they're very exposed, and I know they're undefeated, but I'm telling you, it just takes one game in the playoffs, and I know by the time the playoffs roll around, they're probably going to be a lot more healthier, and, you know, the timing is going to work out perfectly for them, but I think the championship window for the Bills is right now, and I know they kind of blew it the last 4 years, but I would just still try to be aggressive as much as possible. And just look what the Rams did when they won the Bowl. They went all in on OBJ, Von Miller, Matt Stafford. That in 1 year, they just went for it, man. And I think that's what you got to do sometimes. You just got to go for it, not only in ball but in life, man. And you just got to be ultra aggressive. There's nothing wrong with that. And like I said, not going to be a steep price. I'd rather see Christian Kirk on this offense, though. I just feel like he brings more of a dynamic presence, and with already a dual threat quarterback like Josh Allen, to add another like guy that can go the vertical down the field and just make big plays, especially with Josh Allen when he gets out of the pocket. I just like that match a lot better. One other team that might make a move are the 49ers, just because this is their swan song, their last dance, before they kind of have to really reconstruct their entire roster before they pay Brock Purdy. And just with Ayuk going down, Debo is actually going to play tonight after being sick. He just got out of the hospital a few days ago, I believe, so I don't know what's going on there. They just need a wide receiver if they really want to just stay in the mix. Like, I don't even know if this is a playoff team right now, man. So for them to like beat the Lions, beat the Packers, like on the road in the playoffs, like, bro, you're going to need some more help. Not only, of course, do you need McCaffrey, and you need Jordan Mason, and you need George Kittle and Debo, but I really feel like you need another receiver to be added to this roster to even keep up with those sort of offenses. So let me know. I think Diontae Johnson would be a better fit there, just because they don't have a true number one there right now. I know Debo is their number one by default right now, but he's not a true number one. I feel like Diontae Johnson can go back to his old Pittsburgh ways in that offense of just getting high targets, high volume, kind of be that 1A, and then Debo kind of just doing his Debo things, just making big plays. And as long as they stay healthy, you never know. Must-win game tonight, by the way. I feel like whoever loses this game, Cowboys or the 49ers, I feel like that's going to knock them out of playoff contention. I feel like these two teams aren't really Super Bowl caliber this year. I'm more specifically talking about the 49ers. Cowboys haven't really been that way for a minute, in my opinion. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked here, but I feel like the only time the Cowboys have really been a Super Bowl caliber team was probably Dak and Zeke's rookie year. And of course, if any of you remember, Aaron Rodgers, Jared Cook came into town and upset them big time. Crazy game, crazy moment. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think about Diontae Johnson, Christian Kirk. Where do you think they're going to go? Who should trade for them? Give me your thoughts, your opinions. If you made this far, please subscribe. It would help out your boy a ton. And that's all I got for right now. Peace.